Yakuza, aka Ryu Ga Gotoku, is one of the most respected franchises in the world of RPGs. Its unique blend of action, storytelling, and a vibrant open-world exploration has garnered a massive fanbase over the years. I too have a deep appreciation for the series. I very like Yakuza Kiwami too, and I believe it has the best writing in the series, or the fast-paced narrative and unforgettable characters in Yakuza 0, or the outstanding conclusion to Kiryu Kazuma's story in Yakuza 6, which has become my personal favorite in the series. Today, Yakuza stands as one of the most successful franchises in the gaming world, enjoying continued success and a devoted fan following. However, like any long-running series, even Yakuza has its flaws. Despite the series' triumphs, certain recurring issues have always bothered me throughout my journey with the franchise. While Yakuza has undeniably made significant strides over the years, it's crucial to take a step back and examine its imperfections, things that I always wanted the series to change, but they always continue to make the same mistakes. The Prince presents the flaws of the Yakuza series. One of the most noticeable issues with Yakuza is the inconsistency in its handling of characters. This problem can be seen across most of the games in the series. The way the franchise introduces characters is impressive, but its tendency to discard them once their relevance to the story has passed is incredibly frustrating. When you start a Yakuza game, you meet characters with intriguing backstories and motivations. You get invested in their journeys, but as soon as they no longer serve the main plot or the development of the protagonist, they are killed off or just fade into obscurity. This happens in almost every Yakuza game. A character who has been built up throughout the story will suddenly be killed without a meaningful or satisfying reason, simply because the writers don't know what else to do with them. If they don't kill them off, they are either written out of the story entirely or relegated to a brief cameo appearance in a later game. It's a sad reality that permeates every installment in the series, and it highlights a critical flaw in the storytelling. This isn't a plot choice based on narrative necessity, it's a result of poor writing or a lack of creativity. Basically, Yakuza series writers often don't know how to incorporate these characters into the broader story or a future game, so they eliminate them basically. This pattern becomes even more frustrating when you realize that some characters have immense potential that is never fully explored. This is the most serious flaw in the franchise, as it's like a snowball effect. It's because of this problem that the next one on the list exists, which is the struggle with reusing characters. Another glaring issue is in Ryu Ga Gotoku is the franchise's struggle with reusing characters in meaningful ways. Many characters who initially seem like they could have a significant impact on the broader narrative are left by the wayside. The Yakuza series suffers and fails a lot in how it reuses its characters. Majima is an incredible character in Yakuza 0, but that's it. He has little importance to the rest of the franchise, and in fact, he's only getting a new game certainly because of his popularity in the fandom. Otherwise, I'm sure he wouldn't even be alive anymore. I haven't played Infinite Wealth yet. Honestly, the last Yakuza I played was Like a Dragon, and as far as I've played, the game didn't know how to create an inheritance. If you look back, we have Majima, Saejima, Daigo, Kiryu and Haruka. All the other characters were literally discarded, and in fact they were basically tools to complement the plot. It's as if every other character that was once important to Yakuza 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was never seen again. They were discarded. Yakuza was gradually resolving these flaws. Each game was getting better in this regard, which is why I had really enjoyed Yakuza 6, and little by little I enjoyed Yakuza even more. But Like a Dragon literally repeated all these mistakes and it feels like we are back to square one. One of the things that made early Yakuza games stand out was their ability to forge emotional connections between the player and the characters. This was particularly evident in titles like Yakuza 0, where the game took the time to explore the personal struggles and motivations of its characters. I love Yakuza 0 and it really is one of the best games in the series because it gives a beautiful start to everything, like the beautiful friendship between Kiryu and Nishikiyama or the beginning of Majima's story, which for me was very unexpected the way he lived in the past and how he is today. He certainly became one of the best characters in the series thanks to Yakuza 0. However, as the series has progressed, this emotional investment has often been undermined by the tendency to kill off or sideline key figures of previous games. To be honest, Nishikiyama's role in Yakuza Kiwami is extremely underwhelming. For a character who was supposed to be so important to the story, his role and development feel lacking there. On the other hand, we saw how important he was in Zero. Unfortunately, this comment of mine was to demonstrate the inconsistency of Yakuza series in writing. Yakuza has often sacrificed its ability to create meaningful and emotional arcs or connections. The franchise has frequently relied on the same dramatic beats which over time can feel formulaic and predictable. Every time I play a Ryu Ga Gotoku game, I kind of know that when a certain character appears, they will definitely die in the end. It's become a franchise with a predictable narrative. So yes, Yakuza series is a franchise with great potential but inconsistent execution. Yakuza is undoubtedly a beloved franchise with many strengths, including its engaging world, memorable characters, and exciting gameplay. However, its storytelling has consistently been a double-edged sword. The series' tendency to discard characters without meaningful development and the failure to reuse and evolve existing ones has created a pattern of frustration for me. When the franchise slowly improved on these flaws, Yakuza Like a Dragon threw them back to square one. The writers definitely didn't learn from this mistake and still have a hard time creating connections and foreshadowings for future games, or making any past plot relevant again. Ryu Ga Gotoku still has a long way to go before it can fully capitalize on the potential of its vast, rich cast of characters. Ultimately, Yakuza remains for me a series that offers moments of brilliance but is often held back by its narrative inconsistencies and missed opportunities for deep character development. I can only hope that future entries will learn from these flaws. That's the only thing I can do. Until then, I can continue to enjoy the heights of the series while acknowledging the persistent imperfections that hold back from greatness. This is my opinion on the flaws of the Yakuza Ryu Ga Gotoku series. If you like it, try subscribing to the channel and waiting for the next videos. I would be grateful. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments because I read almost all of them. And with that, I close the curtains. Showdown.